So this chapter, we're going to look at inventory. Now, it seems like in the last few years, this chapter or this material topic is not quite as simple as it once was. It's the same way it's been taught, the same material, nothing's changed since I was a student, but it's just students communicate that it's a little more difficult than it has been in the past. I'm hoping it was just a temporary COVID thing and it will go back to the way it was before. But this one's been a little bit of a challenge lately. I am going to let you read this section. I'm not going to cover it too much. I think between a smart book and reading this and reading your book, I think the terms should be easier. We're going to pick up a couple of new terms though. First in, first out, or FIFO. Last in, first out, which is Lifo, weighted average, and specific identification. So those four concepts are the bulk of the chapter. Everything else is just going to build on what we learned in chapter 4. So we have a practice problem here, and this is really just slowly getting your feet wet into what we're going to do in chapter 5. So in this example, on January 1st, they had beginning inventory, 40 units, $2 each, $80. Then they had some sales. And the reason the sales is blank is this is not typical for the real world. It's just the way that's going to be presented to you in this problem to, like I said already, to ease your way into the water, get your toes wet, and slowly move you into more robust, more real material that you could encounter in the real world. Now, on February 14th, they purchased 70 units. Now they cost $3 at $210. June 30th, 90 units were purchased, $4, 360 total. And finally, on November 10th, they bought 20 more units at $5 each, $100. So kind of like what we're living in now, prices are rising. Total number of units was 220. Total cost of all the units purchased was $750. So, review from chapter 4. That is cost of goods available for sale. As you recall from chapter 4, what you start with and what you buy is what you have available. Makes sense, right? So cost of goods available for sale, co-gas, is $750, and the number of units that are available during the whole period that could have been sold was 220. All right, so let's say there's 175 units sold. 175 units sold. On FIFO, now this is, you got to think, okay? He's got a bunch of stuff in a warehouse, and they're just going to go in there with a forklift. Someone's going to run in there and grab some boxes and leave. Maybe they're paying attention, maybe they're not, to what's older versus newer. They should be rotating the stock. But as far as accounting purposes go, hopefully, if we say FIFO or LIFO is what was applied, hopefully they went by it. But accounting purposes, we're not identifying exactly what was there and what wasn't there and what box was sold and what box wasn't sold. That would be specific identification that we'll study in a little bit, but not now. We're only going to look at this problem, FIFO and LIFO. So in FIFO, it says first in, first out. So we sell the first items. They're the first there. They're the first out. In LIFO, we sell the last items bought first. So last in, first out. We sell the last items bought first. FIFO, we sell the first items bought first. Now, hopefully you run your refrigerator on FIFO. If not, if you're eating the most recently purchased stuff, like say if you buy some milk and you just open up what you bought and you don't drink the old stuff, then you go to reach in and get some of that older stuff once the newer milk is consumed, drank. You could have a nasty taste in your mouth, right? So you've been running your refrigerator and your produce and bread on FIFO. Not so much of importance, I guess, to the date on frozen, but even frozen needs to be rotated. All right, so if that's the case on FIFO, if we're going to sell 175 units, we sell beginning inventory first, and then we work our way through until we have sold all, or we have accounted for selling all 175 units. So 40 plus 70 is 110. 110 plus 65 is 170. So it's June 30th. We're done selling. There's no more layers of inventory that will be sold to get to one. So we have 0 for November 19th. It might be helpful to do this. Oh, come on. I want it to paste. All right, let's try this again. Copy. We'll do it with mouse. I was doing it with keystrokes last time. Oh. All right, more than one way to skin a cat. Almost. Well, that did not work at all. I think I shrank it enough. All right, so good enough. We shrank it enough. We'll have it over here. All right, so we started out with 40 units. Then we bought 70 more. So that's 110. And if we had just added the 90 to 110, we'd have 200, right? We didn't. We sold only 175. So we put 65 here because these three numbers add up to be 175 that way. So 40 and 70, again, I'm repeating myself, is 110, and then 65 is 175. That means we didn't sell all 90 units on June 30th. We sold 65 of those units, which means we have a remaining amount of 25. All right. So that's how you do FIFO. The opposite is Lifo. In Lifo, we assume we sold the most recently acquired units first, and then we'll work our way back. So what we do with Lifo is the opposite of FIFO. We start with the most recent and keep working our way back to the oldest until we hit 175. So 20 goes here, then 90, not 65 like we did with FIFO, but right here. So now we're at 110, right? Okay, and we only need 65 more. So we write down 60. We look here and it's 65 is less than this. So we write down 65. All right, so in other words, you want this to total it to be 175. These three, and you want these to be 175. Now, let's look at Lifo if it had been 185. Let's do Lifo at 185 just because. 20 goes here, 90 goes here. Now we're at 110. And if we add 70, which was what this layer is, February 14th, where are we at? We are at 180, right? I'm trying to slow down so y'all will make sure you pull out your calculators and figure along with me. Don't watch this like it's a TV show or a whodunit mystery. There's no surprises at the end. All right, so that puts us 180. Then we would have 5 for Lifo here. And then 20 plus 10 is 110. I'm sorry, 20 plus 90 is 110. Plus 70 is 180. And then 5 more is 185. Well, let's do 185 for FIFO. It was set at 175. So 40 and 70, that's 110, so we don't have to do anything else. And we need to go to, we need to go to 185, and right now at 110. So you subtract 185 minus 110, and you get 75. So we'll use up all but 75 units of that 90 layer. And then you just check your math. You always want to check your math again, okay? Always. I think I've said that in every single video. 75 plus 70 plus 40 is 185. Okay. Now look, it's going to take some practice. We're going to go over a few of these, okay? So then what you do is you write down the cost per unit. 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4. We didn't sell anything for November 19th, so we don't need it. Same thing for beginning inventory. We didn't sell anything for that, so we don't need it. 5, 4, 3. All right, so then it would be 2 times 40. You know what? Let's do this. I haven't had the camera on because I started using the pen. My surface, I'm right up on it with my face, and I didn't want to turn the camera on when I'm doing that. So 2 times 40 equals 80. 70 times 3 is 210. So that's 3 times 70. And then 65 times 4 is 260. Yeah, it did say 65, right? Is that right? Yeah. Make sure I didn't change it or didn't forget to change it back. These add up to be 550. And then you do the same thing with Lifo, and you get a cost of goods sold of 655 for Lifo and a 550 for FIFO. Different? Yes. Because costs have been increasing. And when costs are increasing, Lifo will give you the higher cost of goods sold. When costs are doing the opposite, FIFO would actually give you the better cost of goods sold. And if they're increasing, yeah, that's good enough. Let's just say that. If they're increasing, Lifo is higher than FIFO. That's it. Now, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I'm just going to give you a preview of things to come. Cost of goods sold can be calculated more easily without going through all these steps. So I'm going to show you a little bit of a faster way to think of it, but you still need to be able to do this just in case something's different about a problem in the future, because you never know what you're going to get. It'll change a little bit. The cost of goods available for sale is going to be the next battle that we fight and learning in our next video. So COGAS comes back from chapter 4. This concludes chapter 5, video 1.